Hello out there on internet land. You haven't seen me for a while, I know. Sorry, YouTube's not my main job in the world, but finally I'm able to get a nice little story about the ColecoVision finally. I did record a video almost 3 months back detailing the first ColecoVision that I had purchased, but things had changed since then. Basically, what had happened to the previous board, the traces were so bad, there was so much bodge work that needed to be done that I kind of scrapped that and bought another ColecoVision with a better motherboard inside. The only difference is that the case was a little bit damaged, so I just basically transplanted this transported the motherboard I got from the system into the older case because the older case was still in better shape. I did manage to fix the little power button. I got this little rocker switch. It has an LED in it, but the only problem is it always stays on. So I got to figure out how to do that. I don't really care about the LED. I just wanted a better switch, and I noticed I had one of these old like nautical switches, and I was like, okay, I'll just use this one. I don't know where I got this switch from. It was just in a box of stuff that I had. So pretty much, I mean, and it's a better switch though. At least I don't have to keep rocking it to get a game working. The second system I had did come with the power brick, but I don't even know where it is. I wanted to kind of take it out just to show you how big that power brick was, because I mean it's massive. But I mean, you can go online, look up AVGN ColecoVision, the Double Vision episode, and to see how gargantuan that power supply was. So I'm glad I was able to have two working controllers again. Not that I use these controllers, and I'll get to those in a minute. Now I have modified this one. I do have the stereo mod, as well as I have the composite right there. If you look right here, I'm still trying to figure out what's going on with this one, but this is my multi-out, and it says it works with CGA or devices that use CGA, but for some reason none of the devices I have seem to accept this signal. And I've checked over and over again, and I've wired it up correctly. So I don't know what's going on there. I did a really good job this time of actually getting these mounted. Usually, like on previous systems, I'm actually terrible at mounting things because I'll mount them at weird angles because I actually took my time in getting this little setup here. Now, for power, I'm not actually using the big power brick anymore because, I mean, it's ridiculous. Just to get 5 volts on the system, I'm using one of these. Now, they sell these online. Just look for a USB-C ColecoVision power, and that's basically what it is. It fits a standard USB-C cable. I would tell you to use like a 3, what was it, 3 milliamps, something like that. Use like your really good fast charging cable with this, because it works much better. I was using some like the power bricks themselves, but yeah, use something a little bit newer that can actually put a little bit more power in it, because what happens is it doesn't it does weird things. There's like graphical glitches and sound glitches if you try to use this with a lower grade power brick and a lower grade USB cable. So make sure you service those out. I do have a cartridge as well. I only have one cartridge for this whole system. I should say one official cartridge, and there it is. The only game I have for it is Donkey Kong. The original Donkey Kong. Not Junior. Junior better. Let me tend to this because I have have no. There we go. Oh, but what I use, and this will work on your Coleco Atom too. So if you have a Coleco Atom out there, one of these. It's an Atari Max SD card for ColecoVision and Atom. If you have the RAM expander for this, you can play some games from the MSX library on there that are a little bit. Actually, if I'm not mistaken, I think there's a lot of MSX ports that you can run on the MSX1. I don't know if you can run something like Metal Gear or anything like that, but maybe with the RAM expander, maybe. But yeah, this is just another one of those SD flash devices that allows you to just use an old SD card in there and load it up. And this is only using 4 gigabytes. That's more than enough to put the whole entire library on there, including Atom stuff on there. So if you have both of those consoles, or if you have a way to play Atom games on your ColecoVision, I'll let you that. But of course, it goes in like any other cartridge would. I don't know why I'm showing you that. Where this is where you put that RAM expansion on it. They're actually selling one for $40. I don't know which one it is because I know there's a couple of them. But you look online for that. Now, as far as the controllers, I mean they're better. It's a better controller than say like the Intellivision that I have, because the controllers, can be removed. It's not like the Intellivision 2, which I think has removable controllers. But this is definitely a better solution. There is a simple solution. You can plug in like an Atari 2600 joystick. The problem is you're not going to have access to the buttons unless you have like an Atari adapter that has the buttons on it. But what I bought is one of these, which I kind of think I jumped the gun on this one because they do have one that does all the old systems, including, the old Sega systems. But this is strictly for ColecoVision. I know you can get it to work on here. This is all metal, handmade construction here from Ed Ladden. They've been making controllers for a while, and it's basically an arcade stick for the ColecoVision. These are the standard. These are more of the standard. I don't know, have an actual name for them. These are like more standard US buttons, not necessarily that. And then of course, it's a hybrid, so it has a SAM sticker, or at least it says it. And then the number pad. Now the number pad's not the best. It is kind of hard to press. I would rather have it where this can have like mechanical switches, but I can also see why they did it, because it is harder to press on accident when you're playing. So I think that's why they did it. But yeah, you got to put some significant force on there. It's like typing on an old membrane computer system. Oof. I would not recommend typing on this thing, but I mean, for what you need these buttons for, usually on a ColecoVision, is usually to start the game or insert coin, whatever it is. I know there are some games that use this, but for the most part, this works pretty good. I'm actually going to modify this, though, because I want to make a pass-through. The reason I want to pass-through is so I can use both the buttons on the controller for at least the games that you have to slide in the thing. But I still want to have access to this, so yeah, it works pretty good. But yeah, these are really good. I mean, I would definitely look at the multi-system one if you're going to get one of these, because then you have an arcade controller for all of your systems. So this is the ColecoVision. You're going to see a couple videos here of me in the same outfit. But yeah, this was definitely a long time coming, and I remember people having this system when I was growing up. and I always was kind of fascinated about it, but I never had it. I think by the time, yeah, by the time the ColecoVision had ran its life, I already had a Nintendo, so kind of ColecoVision was kind of like that stopgap, I guess, between the Atari and the NES. It was kind of it was that good, and a lot of games that were on this system did end up on the NES. So while it's nice to have the original hardware because there are games, that you find, this was definitely. I've actually completed the trio, so the Intellivision, the Atari 2600, and this one of kind of like these systems you know, that were competing in that market. And I know there's several more, and I know there's variations of this system, the Intellivision. So, but all in all, I'm not going to tell you what I paid for all this stuff. But all in all, I really think that I mean, all mistakes aside, I really think that having the ColecoVision was definitely it kind of opened my eyes to just how good this library of games is. Um, because like I said, as America, you think Atari in America, you think of Atari 2600 and then straight to NES. But there were so many great systems along that way, and you never know if things would have turned out different. Say Nintendo, because Nintendo first approached Atari from what I've read. Nintendo approached Atari to bring the NES to market. Um, but I mean, they also had a partnership with Coleco as well because a lot of games on there's a lot of games bearing the Nintendo name on the ColecoVision as well. Yeah, it could have been maybe a revision of this system. Maybe if they had like a ColecoVision 2, it could have been on par with the 8-bit graphics of the NES because some of these games are very, very, very close as far as I would almost say that this was had the ability had the ability to do really good graphics. Maybe not so much in the sound department, but really good graphics. So it wouldn't have taken much to get this thing, to market. And it's just so much more enjoyable to play than pretty much any of those old systems. Because the games are primitive, but yet games that really shine on it. But that's it on that. But I'm glad I was able to show this to you. I've been playing it probably more than any of my systems right now. It's just because, I mean, there's a whole library on here that I have never even discovered. And I found out Montezuma's Revenge is really hard. Trying to play that, I have problems with it because it's not like Mario where you can jump off a ledge and land. No, you can only fall from a certain height. Very, barely fall from a certain height and you're dead. But this was definitely a good system. For a while there, I'm kind of picky about the systems I buy now. I mean, there's so many systems that I want, but there's a lot of systems that I just got out of completely, just because I found other ways to play them, either through emulation or which I'm going to show you eventually. I am looking at building a Mister eventually, but I mean the price on parts right now. I'm watching the prices go down on parts though, so I was really thinking about some other alternatives to a Mister, to like the DE10 Nano, uh, but they don't really have any documentation of people putting, setting it up as a video game. And I'd rather, even though I've heard it time and time again, even though everybody's like tired of hearing about the Mister, I think that's probably the best solution we have right now, without having to do the programming yourself, but having the programming knowledge yourself to put that on some of the other things. I mean, there are other FPGAs out there. There's not as big of a community as there is with the D10 Nano. So yeah, eventually, I don't know what kind of case I'm gonna put it in. Honestly, I'm thinking about using one of my the older game cases from my broken systems. I'm really thinking about, and I know there was a modification that I seen that allows you to play CD games on the Mister. So I was thinking I have an old 3DO case I might use for it. A Mister in a 3DO case, that might actually be kind of interesting. Or maybe an old Atari case. Something. I'm cooking something up. I still have an old Commodore 64, my red one that I used to use for Raspberry Pi emulation. I might actually use that one, but I don't know. Several ideas brewing, but this has been really fun. I'm going on because I don't really script anything, so I'm kind of rambling on. So I'm going to end it here. But I'll put links to anything that I'm showing off here. I'll put links into the chat. The Atari Max cartridge might actually be they might actually be in stock again. Same thing with these. I think these are still in stock. But I'll provide links to that in the wherever it shows on your device of choice. But I will be back with another one. I'm actually gonna let me just get into the next one right away.